All right.
Sure. So while we're waiting for everyone to come online, we have about 20 people right now. We are live on Facebook too. So share this with everyone you know that needs to hear this, wants to learn more about getting involved in real estate, wants to seize this as an opportunity, which we'll talk about more very shortly. But before we go into how to make this a benefit for people, I always just want to kind of brief up everybody on what's going on today in the market. What changed? Did anything really change? What changed as far as doing business, lending, real estate? Is there certain assets that people want to buy? So there's a lot of questions that come up with COVID-19. So the first thing I'd like to do is get Martin from Express Capital Financing. He'll explain to us a little bit about what changed with lending when it comes to COVID-19, and then we'll talk about other topics.
So welcome, everyone. My name is Marty Chera. I'm the president of Express Capital Financing, and that was my son, Max. So we are private lenders. We're based out of Brooklyn, New York. We're nationwide, and we're one of the very few lenders that did not pause our funding, our financing, because we're not just lenders, we're also investors, as Joe will go into himself also what he does, but we're investors and we understand where there's uncertainty, there is definitely opportunity. In this market right now, there's going to be a lot of, unfortunately, foreclosures, divorce. People have to settle and get out of their properties. People are, agitated and they want to, downsize their economics, their budgets, and they're afraid to pay a mortgage. They lost their job and they don't want to have that mortgage obligation. So with all this said, from divorces to deaths to people not having jobs and all this uncertainty, there's definitely an opportunity here to buy, and your success is in the buying. So we're here, we're lending. Typically right now in the mid-COVID, we are at like an 80% of the purchase, 100% of the renovations. We have no draw limitations, so you could do unlimited draws, whether you want to do it weekly, monthly, however you want to do it. We're doing 1 to 4 units. As your lender, hopefully, we will determine for you, not just giving you the capital, the debt to do the deal. We're going to underwrite it and make sure that it makes sense. Common sense underwriting to provide you with that profits, to provide you with a market analysis of where the trends are going on that particular area. Is it better to keep it as owning it in your portfolio as a buy and hold? Or is it better to rent it if it's a renter's market? So we're able to provide all that for you. And like I said, we're here, we're nationwide, we're lending, we're here to answer your questions, your calls. And Joe can vouch for this, and I'm sure he's going to say this later on in the conversation, that the best type of property to buy is not retail, it's not a warehouse, it's not industrial, it's always a place where people need to live. And that is a single family up to a multifamily, because everybody needs a place to live.
Very well said. Thank you so much for that. So as you can tell, there is a lot of opportunity as far as for people to sell, why they would want to sell, whether they're doing they're having their mortgage deferred, they may have a balloon. There's a lot of details to it, which, if anyone has questions, by the way, they can definitely put it in the Q&A in the bottom, and we'll make sure to try and get to it. I want to make sure that, we're being as conversational as possible. So if there's a certain topic that you want us to touch on, feel free to let us know. So Joe, you've been in real estate now for about 35 years. You've probably seen many different swings, whether it was the 07 and 08, even before that in, I think it was 99?
98.
Yeah, it's a little bit before my time. I was still a little guy back then. But, you've definitely seen a lot. You've been through a lot. You built up a huge portfolio. You actually also write self-help books now. The new one that you have coming out, The Foundation of a Successful Life, which I can't wait to read myself. I have it ordered on Amazon already. But yeah, I guess just give us a little bit of an introduction to yourself and what you're looking to convey today to our audience.
Yeah, Joe Florentine, and I'm a real estate investor with 35 years experience at this point. So like Max said, I've seen a lot of twists and turns in the market over the years. So, right now I'm retired on my real estate investments. I'll get into that in a minute, what I did there. That my cash flow now is phenomenal, and want to put myself in a position I never have to work again. And I hope that some people here are wind up in that same position at some point. I also am recently an author. I have a book just coming out that Max mentioned, The Foundation of a Successful Life. The later years in my life, I'm 60 years old now. I've done everything that I wanted to do financially at this point, and now my goal is to give back and to help other people become more successful. And when I met Marty and Max, they asked me if I would, speak in this webinar this evening, and I'm more than happy to do so, to share some of the knowledge that I have in here, and hopefully set you guys in the right direction for what's about to come. So.
Absolutely. Giving back is really important, and we always appreciate that. We want to keep everyone educated, let them grow with us, because the more people we have on our level, the more we can grow together.
Absolutely.
So
I just want to add, I met Joe back about 6 months ago, a year ago, at an event. He's a Napoleon Hill Institute graduate. Am I correct, Joe?
Yes, certified instructor.
And the speech that he gave, I was in awe, because I read Grant Cardone, Jeb Blunt, Brian Tracy, and what's the other guy's name again? Brian Tracy and Zig Ziglar. So I read all the books, and I know, I knew whatever you were talking at that moment, at that speech, it was awesome. It inspired me even more. And I also bought his book. I'm waiting for it to come in. So when people have the experience, it's not about what you know, it's not about what you know, it's whom you know to get you at that level. The right people, making the right networking, the opportunity, speaking with them, engaging them with them, whether it's Joe for his experience, whether it's us for our lending and our investment strategies, that's what it's all about, to gain wealth in real estate.
absolutely. And we got a question in from Luis Hernandez. So before I let you go, Joe, since it's on the lending side, I'm just going to let Martin take this question real quick. So where are cash out refi terms after COVID?
Where are cash out refinancers after COVID? If it's hard money, we're going to be doing about 75% of the as is. If you're going into permanent financing, which, by the way, a lot of lenders paused it, we are one of the very few that just reopened it this week. So if anybody's looking for permanent financing on a 1-to-4, we have reopened again the product in the program. So if your question is about that, we're at a 65% leverage today on the permanent financing, with minimum scores of a 650. 680.
Got it. So just to recap that, on the permanent side, 680 minimum credit, 50 to 65 leverage on the cash out, and if you're doing hard money, it's about 70. Are there any other questions regarding that before I let Joe take the floor?
So maybe I'll just add one more thing, folks out there. Again, we're not just a lenders. If you're looking for properties, you need to find properties, we'll help you. We have good websites, good traction with auction.com and RealtyTrack, and some other sites that we could, steer you to, where you could find some good property leads. We could help you with proof of funds. Well, like I said, we will dissect the deal for you. So we don't just want to be your lender. We want to be a relationship with you, providing you with economics, the analysis of the deal, and as far as referral sources on finding property leads today. And doing an analysis is very, very important for the newbies and for the experienced. I will say most lenders also have shaved off on the after repair value, 5%, maybe 10%. So whatever your after repair values are, if the number is, let's say, 300,000, you should take off $15,000. You'll make it 285. And still see if the number works for you or for a lender, because every lender out there is shaving off a good 5 or 10% of the ARV.
Absolutely. So Angelina asked, how do we get the leads in other states from you? I'm not sure what you mean by that. If you could just please elaborate, and then what we'll probably do is have a question and answer segment at the end where we'll go through everything. But Joe, I'd like for you to go a little bit, I guess, and talk about the topic today is how to turn COVID into, instead of something that's working against us, how do we allow it to work for us? How do we make this a benefit? and use this to actually get to our financial freedom through this time.
All right. Thanks, Max. I got to tell you, I think that this is, we're about to hit some unprecedented opportunities in the real estate market. There's no doubt about it. And being hooked up with Max and Marty at this point to get your deals funded, that's always what the problem is. You got guys who are creative in funding their deals. That's a perfect situation for you. So, but I think that the first thing you need to do, that I think everybody needs to do, is to be successful in this and get through all of this, is to develop the right mindset. And that's kind of what I want to touch on first here. You know, I think everybody's sitting here right now, and there's a whole lot of things that we can't do anything about. It's frustrating, you know, where there's fear. Everybody's home right now listening to this, but in the back of their mind is the fear of when will this end? Is it going to come back again? Is there going to be a vaccine soon? When am I going back to work? When are my tenants going to pay me? All of those things. And I think a lot of us feel kind of helpless. And I want you to know tonight, the biggest takeaway that I'm hoping that you get out of tonight is that you realize that you can do something about this. If it's just no more than a simple adjustment in your attitude and on how you look at the overall problem, I think that's where we always got to work on first. So it's really a matter of taking really a couple of some small steps and actions every day that's going to set your mind in the right mindset. I mean, I know every conversation is full of, oh, this is terrible. When is it going to end? I can't wait to get out of the house and all those things. And it wears on everybody. And I tell you what I do to help my attitude that way is every day, and I practice this all the time. I really encourage you to do this. It's very simple. 5 minutes every morning. I sit down and write, and I have a gratitude journal. I sit down and write everything that I'm grateful for. And if you took just a few minutes first thing in the morning, excuse me, to write down what you're grateful for in your life, it will set your day heading in the right direction. You'll start to focus on things that are positive and start to focus on some opportunities. You know, write down things, you know, whether it's family or friends or whatever you might be grateful for. The simple fact that we get to live in America, we take that for granted, but we get to live here. We get to get up tomorrow morning and do whatever we want, be whoever we want. I mean, it's just a phenomenal thing. So just that simple thing alone, that we have the opportunity to do anything that we want tomorrow, be anything that we want, I think is very, very important. Write down what you're grateful for. Start to take tomorrow maybe one little action. Reach out to somebody that you know you should have been reaching out to or wanted to talk to. Do something a little bit different tomorrow and start to build some momentum. You know, don't feel like you can't do anything about it. I mean, one of my favorite, Marty mentioned before that I'm a big Napoleon Hill fan. Here's a copy of Think and Grow Rich book. I'm 60 years old now. Someone gave me this when I was 20, and I still have it and read it all the time. It stays right here on my desk. And
just like to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. One of my favorite people that Napoleon Hill writes about all the time is Henry Ford. And Henry Ford, one of the things he said about this kind of situation is when he ran up against something that it looked like he could do nothing about, what he did was focus on the things he could do something about. And when he focused on those and acted on those, he found that by the time he got to where the problem was that it looked like he could originally not do anything about, it didn't even exist anymore. His analogy was if there was a river and he needed a bridge to cross a river before, by the time he got to the river now it was dried up and he just walked across it. So what I'm encouraging you to do is you can't solve all the problems overnight. Don't let it overwhelm you. Start to work on the things that you can do something about. So I want to tell you two quick stories of things that actually have happened to me during real bad downturns, this being one of them, during bad downturns that turned out to be a benefit. So what you want to try to do is turn this adversity, the pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic, into a benefit for yourself. It's very, very easy to do if you just focus on it and ask yourself, how is this going to benefit me? How is this going to benefit me? The answers come to you. There's no doubt about it. So right now, Max mentioned that that we recently wrote a book that he ordered. My daughter and I wrote it. This is it. It's called The Foundation of a Successful Life. And if you want it, like you said, just type my name in on Amazon, Joe Florentine, and you can get the book if you'd like to. So, but what happened was she and I have been working on this book for about 9 months, right? And all of a sudden, we're so excited. The book's going to come out. We're going to make lots of sales. This is going to be great. When does the book come out? When the first printing of it, it's March of this year, right? All of a sudden, we got 25 books shipped to us. Then the printer shuts down. Then Amazon can't put it up on Amazon because obviously they have other things to do. All these things that originally, first, when you looked at it for a moment, seemed like a big problem. But the real truth to it is that this is actually going to turn out to be a benefit for us, because this book coming out at this particular time, when people really, really, really need it, is going to be huge for us. And the other thing is we have what we did with this, and it's not just a book, and I'm not plugging the book, I'm telling you a story about how something just benefited us. We spent a lot of time developing this book. It's 20 lessons teaching you how to overcome adversities, how to create a positive mindset, how to set goals and plans, how to budget your time and your money properly, all those things. So we set it up so it could be sponsored by corporations for their employees. We wrote it at a very basic level so that their employees, their young employees in particular, could go through the book. And we designed a course to go along with it that the employees could take action steps every single week and better their lives one by one by one as we went along. So the Kindle version of this book, though it's not even sold out, the Kindle version of this book came out 2 weeks ago, right? I get a call from someone last week, a CFO of a pretty big corporation, not even realizing that this was our program, and said, hey, what do you have? I would like to order a bunch of these books for all my employees. How can I go about doing it? And I was able to sit there and explain to him the program we put together, and boom, they're all over it. So we have our first customer from a CFO from a big corporation that I guarantee you, if things were normal and he wasn't home, he wouldn't be sitting there reading our Kindle book. There's a benefit to the adversity. We sent this book to I want to go right to the top with this. Ultimately, we'd like to get this into the education system. We sent a copy of the book to President Trump's office and also Secretary DeVos's office. Lo and behold, I guess President Trump's a little busy with other things right now, right? But Secretary DeVos's office actually got the book, called us, and actually loves it. So, I mean, it was just amazing. And they probably wouldn't have had time to focus on something like that before. So we also have salespeople that are looking to come on board with us to market the program and things like that. And the reason we have those salespeople, we never would have been able to get to that talent pool if everybody was working all the time the way they normally are. But now, turning this adversity into a benefit, we're able to tap into a different talent pool than before. So anyway, that's just something that happened during this pandemic that I wanted to share with you, to show you that if you keep a positive attitude toward things and believe that something good's going to happen, something good can turn out even something that originally looked really bad. The other thing I want to tell you before I get into the real estate nuts and bolts is, and Marty can relate to this very well, going back to 2008, 2009. So I'm assuming that a lot of people on this webinar are house flippers per se. That was my occupation for 25 years. That's what I did. I bought things, fixed them, sold them, did small subdivisions, that kind of thing. When the market crashed back then, I went from living in a big, beautiful home on top of a golf course to living in a rental home. I didn't even own my own house. My net worth was minus $120,000 at that time. And it was a difficult time, but working on the things that were in Think and Grow Rich and working on those mentally every day set me in a different direction. And the benefit that came from that adversity of that collapsed real estate market was that I made a move over to commercial property, to bigger rental properties at that time, through a whole bunch of different things that happened. I went there, and from 2010 to 2016, we were able to accumulate $60 million in commercial real estate assets. And that's what I live off today. And the point is, with this pandemic, just like what happened back then, that never, ever, ever would have happened had that problem not come up. So look for the benefit in this thing. It's absolutely out there. So let's talk about what you need to do to really start to get your real estate career moving forward, or to make some really good money over the next couple of years. I think the first thing you need to do is maintain good credit. I know it's easier said than done, but if you maintain good credit during this, you're going to separate yourself out from all the people who don't pay their bills. And it's an important thing. When this first happened, a lot of people were asking for forbearances and stuff right away. And our attitude toward it was, no matter what goes on, I'm not asking for a forbearance. We're going to pay, because I know in the end, my son now runs the business. I know in the end that if we stay on that and make every one of those payments and keep our credit solid, he's going to be in a great position to expand the business even further when this is over. So I would say maintaining your credit is very important, and maintaining a relationship with lenders like Max and Marty. Maintain a relationship with them because they have the cash. You need cash to make your moves with it. It's very, very important. Stay in touch with them on a regular basis. Run deals by them, but keep your credit good. Let me talk about the effects on, excuse me, this is not pie in the sky now, effects on what's going on with the rental property business. I know a lot of you are in that. Now, we have 2,000 tenants. All right. So you can imagine as this starts to come up, we're a little bit nervous and have to start planning on, all right, how are we going to handle these different things? 2,000 tenants. And I want to tell you what's happened in our business directly from February and March into the month of April. The difference, I'm going to call it February to April, or March to April right now. So in the month of March, we had 1,950 people, tenants pay us $757,000. All right. So there's your kind of your bar in there. The month of April, we only had, now a lot of our properties are Georgia, Florida, but we only had a 9% drop off in that. In other words, we had 1,773 tenants pay us $677,000. So if you are a landlord now and you stay on your tenants and you make some things work out with them, nothing can be more important. All right. That would be number one. Number two is we happen to be very, very good at managing properties. That's our business. We've been doing it for a long time. So we had only a 10%, we only lost 10% of our income for last month. Most of the landlords I'm speaking with lost between 25 and 30% of their income last month. And I bet you if you're in New York City, you guys are in Brooklyn, it's even worse, right? So what the point is, that creates unprecedented opportunities for you guys, because some people aren't going to be able to sustain for very long at all. So you're going to have a lot of opportunity coming up. That's why I'm saying, number one, keep your credit good, because you'll be able to go out and borrow. You know, things go on that different I'm going to jump right over to different real estate asset classes. All right. So I fortunately was able to I was invited onto a seminar about a month ago, a webinar that Goldman Sachs was hosting regarding the real estate industry and different asset classes and what they saw, what they anticipated coming. And I want to go through the asset classes with you to tell you where you should be and what to stay away from, what's going to be a problem. All right. So the Goldman Sachs said the worst asset class getting hit the hardest is hospitality right now, hotels and things like that. All right. They were right on the money with that. The only hospitality property that we own was 20, we collected 20% of the revenue in April than we did from March. So most of the losses we had in the month was all regarding hospitality. So stay away from hotels, right? That'll be short-lived. It'll come back at some point. But for the moment, stay away from anything to do with that. Next worst that Goldman Sachs said, and we experienced directly, retail properties. All right, retail was already on the decline. Amazon has taken over the world. right? Everybody gets everything on Amazon now, right? Everything is drop shipped. Retail, there's only so many room for so many pizzerias and so many hair salons and so many nail salons and so many Chinese restaurants.
And
Retail,
banks,
stay
and
away.
banks.
Yep, exactly.
Banks too. Every corner
So
there's a bank over here in New York.
there's a bank, right,
Every
exactly.
corner, every corner.
So retail's something you guys want to stay away from. All right, I'm not saying you can't make money at it. I'm just saying I wouldn't touch it. We have some retail properties. Our next worst asset class collecting rent last month was retail after hospitality. Even though we collected 80%, it was still the second worst. The next asset class I would say stay away from, really stay away from, is office. Everybody's learned to work remotely now. Office was not expanding to a great degree in most of the country anyway. Now everybody can work remotely. I wouldn't touch office. Office, we collected 85% last month on that. That fell right in line with the Goldman Sachs predictions there. Good asset classes. We've got two of them. One is multifamily or residential. That would be an outstanding one. People need to live someplace. We collected 91% last month on the residential and multifamily aspect. So it was down, excuse me, down usually about 98%, down 7%, but we can live with it. I mean, it's not bad. People need to live someplace. They realize that. The next is the other good asset class is industrial or self-storage. So I'm a big self-storage fan. And I got to tell you that last month, in the month of April, we collected 98.6% of the rent from self-storage. You're going to have a lot of different people, when a lot of rooftops are turning, as they say, through foreclosure or whatever it might be, storage booms. Storage is going to be good. There's going to be a lot more multi-generational housing. Max is going to have to move in with Marty because he can't pay his bills. Yeah, I'm kidding, Matt, but you know what I mean. That's how things are. You know?
I mean, just to add, people, like I said, they're selling their properties where they're getting divorced, so that self-storage is going to become more of an asset. So that's why it's going
More
to
of
be,
an asset.
it's popular, it's going to be more popular.
It's going to be more popular. So
Right.
that's really, I got to tell you, the residential multifamily self-storage, that's where you want to go. My son and his partner have built a self-storage business. I mean, they're in their 30s. They got a few more years of expansion and things, and they're set for life. So I'd highly encourage you to get involved in self-storage. If you need more information on that, you can always go. My new website for the book, it's called Success Cornerstone, successcornerstone.com. There's an info button there. You can send us an email. I'll have somebody get in touch with you if you want some more information on that stuff. So
Joe, just a quick question based off of what you said. Have there been any different techniques? Because I'm sure we're talking to a lot of people right now that are property owners, that have tenants, and some of them may be having issues right now. Were there any techniques that you used to either
Mitigate the
risk or maybe incentivize a tenant to pay their rent in order to ensure that you're getting it, whether it be on one of your retail places or residential?
Yeah, what we've done when we need to. All right, our position is we set a company position up right at the beginning that I'm sorry, you have to pay. We have bills to pay too. You have to figure it out. You have to figure it out. You have to figure it out. And that's been pretty effective. But in the situations where it hasn't been effective, we want to turn that into a benefit as well while helping the tenant. So there's been a few of those tenants that what we said is, okay, Max, your rent is $10,000 a month. You can't pay this month and probably not next month. We're going to take that $20,000. And what we're going to do is we're going to make your rent starting in the month of June. We're going to make that $11,000 a month for the balance of the lease. So what we're able to do then is by making that new lease, adjusting it up to $11,000 a month starting in June, giving them the immediate break. By doing that, we're also increasing the value of the property too, because
how are you increasing the value by making a deferment in the rent?
You're increasing the value by, instead of it being $10,000 a month or $120,000 a year, right? The net operating income on that property, the net operating income on that property now turns to 132,000 for the year. So it's an extra $12,000 a year is what the net operating income would be, what the bankable asset per se is. So
Correct me if I'm wrong, the base rent is still 120. You deferred 2 months of 20 grand out of that 120, so he's only still paying it back in that calendar year. No?
no, it wouldn't be the calendar year, it would be the term of the lease. In this case, they had 3 more years on the lease, Marty.
Okay.
I left an important part out there. So
Okay.
3 more years on the lease,
Got it.
that's settled for them. So now we're going to get that money, but also the rental value increased on the property.
Got it.
I mean,
Joe, if I could just add something, for all the newbies out there and that want to get this opportunity, commercial properties, multifamilies is not the way to start. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. You want to start off with single families, 4 units, either acquiring them or doing a fix and a flip, learning how to do it, learning how to manage it, learning how to flip it, rehab it. Once you have some wealth, 100, 200 grand, then you can go into acquisitions on the 1 to 4s. And then from there, you could slowly step up to a multifamily. I just want to make sure you agree with me on that, because some of these newbies thinking that they could just go into multifamilies from the onset, thinking that there's so much opportunity.
100%. You're absolutely right. You need to get some experience. You need to get some experience in there. I was going to get to the flip type of properties next. You want to get some experience in that, buying, fixing, selling. You don't want to, and I don't think you're ever going to make a lot of money buying and renting 2 and 3 family homes. That's tough, but buying them, fixing them, renting them to sell them, that's a whole nother ball.
Get some profits first, some cash, liquid, then you can go to the next step, which is acquiring 1 to 4s. And then hopefully that investor can go into multis and then go into everything else that Joe does. So I just want to let everybody, the newbies, you got to start off slow, you got to start off small, and you're going to get there. You can't cross the bridge without getting to the toll bridge first.
That's absolutely right. And there's going to be a lot of, to add to that, a lot of opportunity there. I heard you mention auction.com. I heard you mention Realty Track. There's going to be a lot more people defaulting on their payments coming up here, creating
50% increase in listings already in the past 3 months.
How much, Marty?
50% increase in listings in the past 3 to 4 months, they said.
There we go. There we go.
They're inundated,
So you want to have the attitude that you can start in your own backyard, your own hometown. And start to have the attitude that I can do this.
And I just want to add something to what Joe's saying. Obviously, he's a very educated person. He's going to explain to everybody how to gain wealth in the real estate industry. But you've always got to take the first step. You got to move. You got to take action. I'm sure it's going to be in his book too, because without action, just listening and learning, you're not going to get anywhere. You got to take that first step. You can't be afraid. You may lose $10,000. You may lose $20,000. Everybody's more afraid to lose than a possible gain, but better to lose and learn, because nothing is going to be 100%. There are no guarantees in this world.
100%. I couldn't agree with that statement more, Marty. You got to, the old adage, you got to be in it to win it. I mean, you got to play.
I would win it. Scared money don't make money.
I'd rather lose than not play. That's my attitude to it.
Exactly.
Not that you want to lose.
Tell me, oh, I'm so afraid. But I tell them, if you got 100 grand, you're going to lose. You can lose it in the stocks in a minute. But with the real estate, you're never going to lose that 100 grand. You're not going to lose it. And talking about real estate and stocks, I'm sure you agree with me. Stocks can go down 1,000% in a minute. You can lose your money in seconds, where real estate is a tangible asset. It's always there. It may go down 10%, 20%. Statistics will show that rents have only stayed stable during a recession, never actually dropped.
Yes, that's absolutely. There's more renters during the recession. There's more renters, there's more renters. So I wanted to, Marty, touch, I agree with everything you just said, and touch on where to buy some assets at this point. All right. So I'm talking to you here from the New Jersey shore. All right. That's where I am right now. And I can tell you what I saw happen after 9/11 in New York was that the prices here skyrocketed. And what happened is everybody wanted to get away from New York, and they wanted to come down here and buy homes here. And you're going to have a migration coming out of the city for a little, out of the cities, out of northern New Jersey, out of those cities. You're going to have that migration coming to Suffolk County, to the Jersey Shore, to Sussex County in New Jersey, the Poconos, that sort of thing, because a lot of people are going to be able to work remotely now. They've learned how to work remotely. So if you can get into those areas and start to buy in those areas, I really believe that those areas are going to appreciate dramatically. So we didn't, after 9/11, excuse me, we didn't even have remote working at that time. You couldn't do this then. Now you can do this. So you got to go into the city once a week, twice a week, big deal. Those areas are going to boom. And I really believe that the shore area, especially because I'm familiar with the Jersey Shore, Long Island, those type of places, a lot of those properties, those investors bought for as summer rental properties, right? They bought 90% of their income comes in during the summer. Most of them are empty during the winter. Now they don't have any summer rental income at all, right? It's shut down. You can't even, they won't even give certificate of occupancy now. So people are going to lose those properties and some prime properties. And I think that that would be a target market for me geographically, is to work out of the city, is where my head is. Where if I was a newbie needing to buy something, I'd be heading in that direction. So, my buddy.
You're not wrong. The migration actually started a little bit before all of COVID, actually. So I'm sure most people know, or if they don't know, New York actually has one of the highest number of people that leave the state out of the entire United States. Obviously, we still have a sustainable economy where it doesn't affect us as much, but at the same time, there's still a lot of people moving into New Jersey at all times. And now this is only going to be an energy shock to make sure like it happens a little bit more in a sense.
Yeah. You got COVID, you got taxes. They're running from the taxes. I mean, I think Florida's going to do very well. I'm very happy on Florida. We own a lot of stuff in Florida. I think that's going to do very, very well down there. So it's they're moving away. I mean, I'm going to evidence what the statement that I just made about getting in the outskirts and the migration in the Jersey Shore. I'm talking to a guy the other night who owns a title company, and we're talking, and we're very good friends. And he says, Joe, I've been working from home. I'm been busier than ever in my entire life. Now he owns a title company here at the New Jersey Shore. He says, I can't figure it out. And I explained this theory to him. He goes, oh my God, you're right. Taking a look to see where the buyers are coming from. So buy on the outskirts, wherever you're comfortable, you're familiar with, out in, Suffolk County, Long Island. I mean, into New York State a little bit, down the Jersey Shore, out western New Jersey, Sussex County, those kind of places. I really think they're going to take off. So anyway, there's a financial crisis. This is a golden opportunity. I mean, for everybody on this call to jump in and start to get your career moving. If you're a newbie, go and pick something up. Watch the auction.com, watch Realty Track, talk to these guys, to Marty and Max, and really you take some action, like Marty said. You get a deal put together in the next month or two for you. So anyway, that's really the insight that I have into it. So.
Beautiful.
Any questions, anybody out there? For Joe, for me, for Max? Okay, while we're waiting for some questions, I just want to say also, Joe, that I'm sure you know I'm an investor too. And a few years ago, I had some commercial properties. About 3 years ago, I had GameStop and Payless Shoe Stores, 2,500, 3,000 stores. We signed them up in 1980. And I told my partners about 3 years ago, I want to get out. Like you said, retail is going, down the drain. They always were a corporate, guarantor, so they're always paying their monthly rent. But looking now, 3 years later, I am so happy that I'm out of it because I got, thank God, a nice return at the time, a nice sale amount. But if I had to sell it now, it'd probably be 50 or 60 cents on the dollar. No rental coming in because Payless is out and GameStop is, that's what I'm hearing, they're practically out. So, like you said before, retail's unfortunately out of the game. And I will tell you, I'm doing a lot of research on self-storage, like you said, and people are, you know, from the divorces to the deaths, and people just want a downsizing. It's a great property type to do. So somebody asked about, can I explain with can I explain to you your lending with auction.com? So we have a relationship with them. Basically, where the only way we could help you was just telling you to go there, find the properties. We could provide you proof of funds if you ever have a deal. And of course, before you leave a hardcore deposit, whether it's auction.com, a realtor, a seller, please call us first, because we have saved people their hardcore deposits from 10,000 up to 100 grand when deals sometimes did not make sense. So having a good relationship lender, a title, and insurance, a mentor like Joe, you need that on your side, because it's about whom you know and what you know. So that's how we can help you with the auction.com.
So we got another question from Jeremy. Are lending requirements going to get strict or loosen up? Which is actually a very good question, because right now we're seeing, amongst where we are right now, we're seeing that things are getting a little bit stricter. Banks are tightening up their guidelines. Credit score minimum requirements are going up. Some lenders are lowering their leverage. Rates might be fluctuating a little bit. But what do we see for, and this question I guess is going to Martin, what do you see for the future of lending? Do you think it's going to get worse, or do you think it's going to get easier?
So on the hard money side, talking to my investors, to my pool, we feel it's going to open up eventually. We feel the impact of COVID has not even really touched the surface yet. If you think about it, March and April, and right now we're mid-May, we haven't it hasn't not impacted the real estate industry or even the economy yet, because when those forbearances and those deferments are over and people still can't afford to pay their mortgages or, you know, their hard money loans, whatever loans, there's going to be more trouble out there. And with that said, but I still feel by the end of 2021, you know, it's going to open up again more to the normal leverage of 90 and 100 and like 70 of the ARV. It's just unfortunate that in our time, you know, it's a pandemic that we never had before. I have a 100-year-old father. When I asked him if he ever witnessed something like this, and he said no. Every time there was a virus, or it was in another country or something, it never was a worldwide pandemic like this. And that's what he could say also. So eventually we'll open up. If you look at the mortgage industry, secondary market, which I'm involved in, which is the stated income no doc, you know, it was closed. Every lender out there shut their doors because there's nowhere to sell it to. And thank God, like Goldman Sachs and other you know, real estate investors are opening up their doors to buy the notes back, which is a very good sign. If you need any more real estate experience, go to Joe. He can help you. He can guide you. Like he said, he's willing to give back, and that's something that's very important. Another resource that I tell all my investors, my clients, is Bigger Pockets is a very good area to go in to do your research, looking up multifamily and type of properties, where to buy and how to buy, and things like that. Anything you want to add to it, Joe?
No, that's, you know, Marty, when money is difficult to get, that's also creates opportunity because less people can get it. So you figure out a way to do it. What we did was we brought in partners and investors. You know, my brothers, my friends, they put cash up into the deal, so your leverage you got a lot more capital in, and then you were able to borrow easier. So maybe they can't lend you 80% anymore. If you're doing a project, bring an investor in, drop that down to 60%. Now you'll be able to get the money, give them a piece of the action, and you're set. So when money's tough, think out of the box a little bit. You'll have a leg up on everybody else. So I like it I loved it when the money was tight. So
absolutely. We just saw the exact opposite not too long ago, and rates went really low to a negative number even at one point before COVID. And sellers couldn't be more excited. Everyone wanted to hit the market because they knew, hey, now is the time where there's the most buyers on the market. And when the most buyers on the market, you're going to have more bids against each other, as opposed to when there's no one on the market and one person's coming with an offer, they have no one else to go back to. There's no one else to give a counter or anything with.
Absolutely.
So that's definitely great advice. Pedro is asking us, have the ARV on property stayed the same? And that's a wonderful question because we've seen the stock market drop 2,000 points in a day because of COVID. Yet we've never seen that before. Even and I could be wrong on this, but even in 07 and 08, we haven't dropped that much in a day. But yet properties seem to not be fluctuating as much. People aren't sure, hey, how do I do my comps right now? So I guess I'll take this to whichever one of you guys want to take this one. Do you think that the ARVs on properties are staying the same? Do you think they're going down, or do you even think they're going up?
Joe, you want to take that?
I would say it really depends what area that you're in, you know, at this moment. You know what I mean? If you're in a city and you're in an area where it's COVID highly infected, it's going down. If you're in an area where it's people consider it safe, want to move to and can commute or telecommute or whatever they might do, I think it's going up. That's what I think.
And just to add to what you're saying, I also have a home in South Jersey, Long Branch. I'm not sure if is that where you're from? Is that where your house is?
Spring Lake. That's not far now. Not far.
Okay. And I'm in a bidding war now in a house. I don't want to get through numbers, but whatever the listing price is, it's going above that.
Yep.
So it's like you said, it's supply and demand. You know, people want to move away from New York. People want to downsize or upsize. I'm looking to upsize. And, you know, the listing price, I'm already at maybe 20%, 30% more than the listing price. It became a bidding war. So it's all about the city and the state. Just to touch on some of the questions here, somebody's asking if, do I recommend any states? If you're a newbie, stay in your backyard. Learn your area, learn your property, learn the values, what it is now, what it is going to be after that. Don't go anywhere else other than your area. When you're experienced 2 or 3 years and you could sweat a loss and you can understand what it takes to make some money and lose money, then you can eventually go to a different state. From there on, I would say maybe a neighboring state or a neighboring county before you start heading over to different areas or different states, I would say. So just to add what Max is saying right now, the ARVs were 65%. We're shaving off 5%. The values, the city and state, the demand, the rental comps are all going to determine if it's stable or going up or down.
So we got another question here. Do you foresee extending your short-term lending terms from 9 to 12 months or longer? Bob, if you could explain a little bit more about that. I'm not sure if you're talking about current, let's say, loans that we have out there that they need more time, or if you're talking about the original at origination. Would love to answer that one though.
But I'll just elaborate on that. All our loans are 12 months. So, and even right now, mid-COVID, we are at 12% because we're taking on the greatest risk. So it's 1% a month. But with that said, we're 12 months. And if you need extensions, we can gladly give that to you at no cost. Other lenders do a 1% extension fee. We don't do that. If any, just to let you know, we have some borrowers that are in trouble. They can't either meet the payments, they can't complete the construction. We're working with them. Just like Joe said with his tenants. He doesn't want to do it, but you know, in my shoes, I have to do it because they owe me the money. So we'll work with them. We'll work with them on that. And by the way, a good hard money lender, a good relationship with anybody of services that could provide you third-party resources of title, insurance, a lawyer, a mentor, and a genius, and a success like Joe, is that's what you need on your team. And that's what I could provide as well as Joe can provide.
Absolutely. And just one last thing to add in on that, Express Capital Financing to begin with, from day one before COVID and all this, we do offer a free 3-month extension automatically to every one of our borrowers. So that is something that we are, you know, a lot of our borrowers are using it now if they need to. If they don't need to, obviously, they might as well sell the property, make the profit.
So what Max was saying was we do a 3-month extension regardless before COVID or after COVID. And if you ever need an extension because you're in one of our loans, call us up. We'll work with you. We'll help with you. And like I said before, you know, steering you to good websites and good property searches to find you deals was all about. We have good realtors. We have good wholesalers. If you're looking to get started, that could provide you with properties as well. So somebody's asking about Suffolk County, Long Island. I'm not sure what the question is there.
I'm sorry, guys. My audio was disconnected for a second. So that was the same guy that asked Pedro about the ARV. So I guess he was asking if we've seen them change in Suffolk County and Long Island. Have you seen anything there particularly?
My loan officers who work in New York have told me that the values are still strong. Like I was mentioning Jersey, I'm in a bidding war. So New York, Suffolk County, Long Island, the Bronx, and Brooklyn, the ARVs are they're still strong because again, it's about people like in my area, there's, how do I say it to you? The prices are not going down. I could still get what I wanted 3 months ago or 4 months ago. So it's just about where you're buying to be successful. But I just want to add also, by the way, for the newbies out there, and correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, if you're making a minimum profit of $20,000, $30,000, be happy with it because it's a start. You don't want to, people want to say, oh, I want to get in it, and if I can't do it for 50 grand or 100 grand, I don't want to do it. It's not worth my time. It is worth your time because 20 will turn into 40 on the next deal, 50 on the third and fourth, and you'll continue to grow, and not just growing with money, growing with knowledge, expertise, knowing what you did right and implementing them, and what you did wrong, staying away from them.
Couldn't have said it better, Marty. You're 100% right.
I like it from you, Joe.
Make a minimal profit. Just do a deal. Do one. You know what I mean? That's the key. You don't want to lose money, and you don't want to put. Obviously, we all want to make 100,000 on a deal. Everybody does. Go in and make 15, 20 grand. Get your feet wet. Get some experience in it. It's important to see all the things that you don't know yet. You start to learn those. That all builds up to the spot in life where all of a sudden the opportunity comes, and now you have all this experience. You can recognize it. So.
Exactly. And what Joe said before, everyone, like he took on his family members to come up with equity deposit, whether he went for bank financing or hard money. The same thing also, we can help you and guide you to get, I don't want to say the word gap funders, but we can help you with, I can help you and guide you in a personal phone call on how to get the money. And I'll just give you some free advice right now. If you got a HELOC, take that 4 or 5% on a HELOC where you could put down 20% on a deal. My company, Express Capital, even if you have credit cards, cash them in, take the checks, deposit them to your account. We'll take that as your 20% down, 25% down. So whether you got cash, credit cards, HELOCs, or just like Joe did, go to your friend, borrow that 20% down and give him 10, 20% on the deal, because 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing. And I got some investors, oh, I don't want to give my friend 50% of the deal, but if he's giving you 50% of the money, he's entitled to it. And I'd rather take 50% of $100 than lose 100% of nothing. Crazy. So get started, get in there, make money. You're going to get excited. You're going to make mistakes, everybody. Don't be afraid of that. That's all I could, say there. We're here to help you and guide you on your path to wealth and real estate. And anything, Joe, that you want to add, I'll be glad to hear.
Stick with residential and self-storage right now. Yeah, don't go anywhere else, and bring some investors in, bring some other people in. I mean, you think we weren't able to get $60 million worth of real estate assets in 6 years without bringing other investors in. I mean, it's just part of it. But you have the opportunity. Marty said it. Rather have 50% of $100 than nothing at all, and that's very true. Bring some other people in.
Right. Joe, I just want to give my point. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's all right, Marty. That's all right. And as soon as what you're going to find is once you perform and made a profit for somebody one time, they'll be back again, and so will their brother, and so will their neighbor, and all of a sudden you'll have more money at your disposal for down payments on all these different things than deals that you have. And that's a problem that something that always happened to us. There's more capital around from investors than there is actually properties to buy sometimes.
I just want to give everybody my point of contact, and Joe, you'll give it right after. We're expresscapitalfinancing.com. Our main contact number is 718-285-0806. So you can reach anybody in my company there. And Joe, if you want to give your information out, if anybody to reach you.
Yeah, best method to reach me is to go to our website, successcornerstone.com. That's our brand new website there. Go there and just shoot me an email, and I'll be happy to help you out with whatever you need.
Great. I'll just end off with one quick question that somebody's asking. Credit, right now, mid-COVID, we're at a 650. But we don't look at assets, liabilities, income, and all that, because hard money, it's all about the asset. It's a hard asset. So we're not looking at income, tax returns, which somebody's asking. If you got money in the bank, we can connect you to a person who's experienced to provide you with that leverage. So for all the people out there that want to get started or in it already, if you just have the cash and no experience, we can partner you up with people who have experience, and people on this webinar right now who have experience, who don't have the cash, we can connect you as well with both parties. So that's what we can do with you and for you. Max, want anything?
Yeah, I guess really all there is to add right now is that we're in a very big, there's a huge opportunity in front of us. A lot of people see it. A lot of people are afraid, which is what causes the opportunity. For those of you who see the opportunity and want to get involved, I can't think of a better time to do it. So this is the time to really get knees deep, read all the books you can. There's webinars happening every day. Educate yourself, learn more about what's happening, because now is the time. As somebody who was not involved in real estate in 07 and 08, unfortunately I was too young. I'm, not that old, but one thing I can say is that when this happened, I realized this is what I've been waiting for my whole life. This is the opportunity that I needed, and now it's the time for me to take action. And all I could think about is, how do I not drop the ball? So don't see this as something that's hurting you. Don't see this as something that's going to stop you from doing business. Find a way to do business. No one thought that we'd be able to host all our networking events online, which we're all doing now. So every time we think something's impossible, we prove ourselves wrong. Let's find out how we can do this right. Let's invest. Let's get involved. Let's learn, educate, and share. Reach out to each other. There are some people that are not as lucky as us right now that have the opportunity to invest. Make sure you're looking out for those people as well, and stick together.
Great.
Thank you guys all so much. If you look in the comments, you'll see Express Capital Financing's information. Joe, if you wouldn't mind as well, just type it into the chat area so they can reach you, the website.
Okay.
And this is a recorded webinar, so this will be available. If anyone needs a copy, please feel free to reach out to me at info@expresscapitalfinancing.com, and I will be happy to help.
And I just want to add also, we're looking for local New York loan officers, anybody that has real estate experience and any financial experience. We are looking for loan officers. We fully train, we support. Reach out to me. I gave you the phone number over there. Please keep in mind, we're not looking for anybody we're looking for somebody who has experience, whether it's real estate or real estate financing. And we'll train you in the products and programs. We'll give salary, draws, plus commissions, obviously. So reach out to me tomorrow. Thank you so much, everybody. Joe, it's great. And keep up the good work, everyone.
Pleasure, guys.
Absolutely, guys. Everyone stay safe, and look forward to seeing you guys again soon.
Sounds good. See you later. Good night.